I'm looking at this draft board for the Detroit Lions, and round one, I'm waiting to see them pick a wide receiver, yet Penei Sewell falls to them at 7 overall. Round two, round three come and go. The Lions still haven't taken a wide receiver. We go into day 3, and the Lions are sitting with no wide receivers in this draft, with a current roster of Tyrell Williams, Breshad Perriman, and Quintez Cephus. And I'm thinking whoever this wide receiver is that goes to Detroit is going to have such a big opportunity in his rookie season. And Stef, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, a guy you've loved before the draft. So I know you've got to be stoked about this landing spot and the opportunity for the Detroit Lions with that early 4th round draft capital. Stef, break it down for me. What are you expecting from Amon-Ra St. Brown with the Lions this season and beyond?
I'm expecting him to take over the wide receiver 1 role on this team within the first 8 games of the season. Because from an analytics perspective, Amon-Ra St. Brown should be a smash prospect. Don't overvalue the draft capital. I know day 3 is disappointing, but the landing spot makes up for it in my eyes because ASB has a 91st percentile breakout age, was great even as a freshman at the University of Southern California. He's an early college declare. I've talked about it so many times on the show before, but the second most important correlation behind draft capital is age-adjusted target share for wide receivers breaking out for us in fantasy football. Amon-Ra excelled when we look at his age-adjusted target share. He commanded over a 20% target share all 3 seasons, even competing with the likes of NFL talents like Michael Pittman, other strong prospects you're going to hear next year like Drake London. And as a sub-19-year-old freshman, had 750 yards in 11 games, had over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns as a sophomore, was on pace for 1,000 yards again his junior year in the shortened Pac-12 season, and put up 7 touchdowns in 6 games as a junior. And his numbers, you can't even make this stuff up. It's a linear progression. He goes from 60 receptions, 70 receptions, 80 receptions, at least the pace as a junior. He's doing what he's supposed to do if he's a good player. That's the exact same reason why a lot of us love Rashad Bateman, is because he was great young, and then he continued to ascend every single year of his career. His production, super impressive. The downside is he's not an athletic freak. He's not an athletic freak from his measurables, but he gets the job done at 5'11", 197. His 40 time wasn't super impressive at 4.66. He did show some explosiveness in the broad jump and the vertical, though. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown as a mid-second round in Superflex drafts. He's a guy that if I can't get rid of those second-round picks, I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown above the draft capital darlings or the landing spot darlings like Amari Rodgers, like Dwayne Eskridge, like Diami Brown. And reports coming out of rookie mini camp, so take these with a grain of salt and don't read into it too much, but he did line up on both the outside and at the slot during practice. Wow. Head coach Dan Campbell said it's too early to truly define St. Brown's role for the upcoming season, but that ambiguity to me means, look, this guy could be all over the field, be on the field a ton. Even though the athleticism wasn't there at the pro day, Amon-Ra comes from a family of NFL talent. He comes from a family of athletes. We know his brother's on the Packers. And so far, Amon-Ra has had the most impressive college profile. But, Alex, I want to comp Amon-Ra's situation to one that gets brought up a ton, and I think it's a very apt comparison, which is 2019 Terry McLaurin. Mm-hmm. A guy that was taken in the later rounds in the real NFL draft, was a guy that was taken in the 3rd rounds of most Superflex rookie drafts. He went into a situation with a relatively impressive college profile, but he was competing against Steven Sims, Trey Quinn, Kelvin Harmon, and 27-year-old Paul Richardson on the Washington football team. And for McLaurin, he was on an offense where you had Bill Callahan, if you remember this. They were just running the ball with Adrian Peterson no matter the score. They finished with a 3-13 record on the year. But even in that situation, Terry McLaurin, 93 targets, 58 receptions, 919 yards, 7 touchdowns. He was a low-end wide receiver, too, in fantasy as a rookie. And now he's a 5th-round pick in Superflex startups, a top 15 dynasty wide receiver. So we look at this Lions situation, should have a worse defense than the Washington football team did in 2019. They're probably not going to run the ball despite being down 3 touchdowns like Washington did. They just picked up a cornerstone O-lineman in Penei Sewell. We've seen Jared Goff throw the ball 600-plus times in a season. So by all accounts, Amon-Ra St. Brown is in a better situation than Terry McLaurin was as a rookie. So that's where I like ASB as a mid-second round pick. He's a guy I'm in on.
Yeah, I like it. And really with these day 3 picks, the thing you got to look for, the prospect is obviously the talent. That's number one, and we've said it time and time again. But as you start to break down these day 3 guys, because that draft capital is concerning, you got to look at the opportunity. And the 313 vacated targets, it's a dream scenario for a guy that goes in round 4. Like, it's unbelievable. He could have gone to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who draft Jalen Darden later on in this draft. That guy's a great prospect, put up ridiculous numbers against weak competition in college, but he's going to be buried on that depth chart. Where Amon-Ra gets to come in with that day 3 draft capital and have an impact right off the bat. And man, like, the slot snaps are actually very, very interesting because I look at the guys they got. Tyrell Williams, Breshad Perriman, Quintez Cephus. None of those guys are really slot guys. Those are all those outside, field stretching, bigger body wide receivers. So if Amon-Ra does get that slot role with Jared Goff, that could be very, very interesting, just knowing how much he relied on Cooper Kupp in LA. So I like Amon-Ra St. Brown a ton. The vacated target opportunity is tremendous. And I agree with you. I think by week 8, by midseason, he is going to be starting for this team. I do expect Tyrell Williams, Breshad Perriman to get the first shot at things in Detroit. Quintez Cephus is still around as well. But it really wouldn't surprise me if by midseason the wheels are falling off and Cephus and Amon-Ra are the number 1 and number 2 on this team. Tyrell and Perriman aren't necessarily the least injury-prone guys in the world either. So I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a dream scenario for him. And he's going to have some redraft interest as well, just knowing that some targets could be funneled his way up in Detroit.